before Geraldine started. So get your pens out and your papers out, and I saw some of you making notes, and I didn't want to tell anybody that now you must be making notes, but I tried to guide you that it might be useful if you make notes. And writing, the physical act of writing something down makes it tangible. It's something you can go back over again and review it again, and exactly what Geraldine said. I didn't know what Geraldine was going to say today. I had pure and utter faith in Geraldine, so I asked her to talk today, and so hopefully that's kind of been a bit serendipitous there from that. Time. No one has any time, absolutely, but I bet you all have time in the evening and you watch TV. Everyone watches TV, everyone goes on Facebook, yeah? But we don't have any time for ourselves, do we? And that's the biggest thing. Like, I think we live in a world now where we are bombarded by technological devices, and there are so many devices that we can use. And that's why, like, I personally made the decision not to only use Facebook for groups. So if any of you really have sent me a message on Facebook, I don't get it because I don't use it. Because I, for me, find that the social media world can be like really overwhelming. You know, particularly if you're a blogger or you own a small business, you know, you've got Instagram, you've got people who comment on your photos, and you've got instant messaging on Instagram. You've got Twitter, people can tweet you and they can instant message you on Twitter. And it's all like information overload, and it can get a bit crazy. And the internet is like a big time suck as well, and it's just crazy. And so most of you know John, because I haven't really introduced him over there. Hello. Some of the things, like, we personally are really interested in, and we read kind of like self-help books, and I don't know how you class a lot of them, but we're really interested in things like the Happiness Project. I don't know if most of you probably know that about Gretchen Rubin. And one of the quotes in Gretchen Rubin's Happiness Project book is, "The days are long, but the years are short." It's true. It's true. And so John and I were finding that you're sluggish in the evening. You know, like, John's really fortunate now. He works for somebody else, but he works at home. But before that, by the time he got home from work, then we had dinner, and then you're kind of like, oh God, so you sit in front of the TV, and you zone out, and you're zonked, and then it's bedtime, and you're in the grind, and you're kind of stuck doing the grind over and over and over again. So we made the decision as a couple to turn off the TV. Not every night, because some nights you're just absolutely exhausted, and you just want to flop in front of the TV and watch mindless rubbish. You do, not saying that. But we made the decision at least once a week to turn off the TV. And you've suddenly got 4 hours of time that you didn't realise that you had. Because when you're watching something on TV, they're usually sort of like 20, 25 minutes, and you've got your adverts, and you've got something else again, and before you know it, an hour's gone, and you just absolutely whiz by. But actually, if you spend an hour of your day, we're doing it in the evening, but we also are implementing the miracle in the morning, you get a lot done in an hour. Surprisingly, you can get a lot done in an hour. You can read a chapter of a book, you can do a bit of crafting, a bit of Project Life, whatever it is, you've got the time. And forever hearing people saying about don't have time, but you have to make the time in the day. There are 24 hours in a day. Yes, you do need sleep. However much sleep you need varies on who you are and what you do and all that kind of stuff. But we need to try and invest some time in our day for ourselves, otherwise we'll never get anything done, we'll never have that sense of achievement. And part of cultivating a happy life is feeling like you're getting somewhere or achieving something. You know, everyone loves ticking something off of their to-do list. It's like, oh, that feels so good. That feels so good. So how do we put that into practice? How do we get more stuff done? We set goals for ourselves, or to-do lists, or whatever you want to call it. People do it in different ways. So I'm going to talk a bit about more like the technical theory. Geraldine's is the creative stuff of what she does. I want to talk a bit more about the technical theory. How many of you know or have heard about SMART objectives? Fair few of you. How many have heard about it and know about it, know what they mean, and implement them, and love them. Great! So I'm presuming those people who raised their hand said, yeah, I know about SMART objectives. Presumably you work in an office environment where at some point in your career you've had an induction or an appraisal, and you've gone to a stuffy conference centre, or you've been sat there in a one-to-one with your manager and he's told you all about, or she's told you all about SMART objectives and you need to get this done, and it kind of goes, oh, you're either sat there and you're thinking, I could be doing that now, or I really hate this gig, or I hate my job, or whatever. So none of the information that they're telling you goes in and stays in, because you're just like, oh, whatever. I know, because I used to be that HR person who used to do that, and I used to sit across the room with people like yourself, totally glazed over, couldn't care less what I'm talking about, what time's lunch, or home time soon. I know, I've been there, because I used to work in HR. So glad I don't do HR anymore. But actually there are elements of it that are really kind of like pivotal in what we do as planners. And I'm pretty much assuming here, sorry, it's probably really sexist, that most of you also look after the time and the planning and who's doing what in your family for your children and for your husbands and partners. You pretty much run your own life and all their lives, am I right? Pretty much. You run everybody's. You are the hub of the family, you are the data centre, you're managing everybody, you're managing yourself, you've got to get yourself up and to work, or you're a stay-at-home mum, you've got to do the kids, you've got to do the husband, it's a bit crazy, it's a bit out there. That's a lot of work, isn't it? I guess a lot of you sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed, it's a bit difficult. You lose, some people fall out of love with their planners, I can see that all the time. Some people get overwhelmed with their planners and the decorating and all that kind of stuff. I love decorating, I love creativity. Some weeks I do not stick a damn sticker in my planner. My work planner does not have a single sticker in it whatsoever. But my home life planner has stickers in it most weeks. And it's the work planner that's kind of like the driving force of like what I do. And then the home planner is just kind of what we do at the weekend, or if we've got a boiler serviced on Wednesday and that kind of stuff. But in there are some goals. And either it's in a separate tab or it's in a separate book. In my traveller's notebook, there are goals in there. And I am a nerd, I don't care admitting it. But because I worked in HR and because I did a degree in HR management and sociology, it's been drummed into me constantly about SMART objectives. And if I didn't believe in it, I couldn't stand up in front of people and talk about SMART objectives, because I've got to believe in it myself. So, why do you need goals? Anyone?
Something to focus you?
Focus. Anyone else?
To measure
Okay, less.
To measure progress.
Measure progress.
To sort when there's so much going on, to work out your priorities.
Sort the weight from the chaff.
That's the word.
Anyone else?
Direction.
Yeah.
Have things to strive for, and see,
Yeah.
little things that you can recognise along the way, little achievements.
Yeah. Definitely. It feels good, doesn't it? To know you've got somewhere and checked it off. Even if it's only something really small. Believe me, this week has been a crazy week this week. I've had some personal things going on, so some meetings with that. We're planning this. It was a massive achievement for me to fold my laundry and put my laundry away in the wardrobe. That's a massive achievement. But it's still an achievement, it's still a tick list. So you may call that to do, other people may call it a goal. So it doesn't matter what you do as a career, if you're a stay-at-home mum, you still need goals or a to-do list. Goals are just like a fancy label that we might put on a to-do list, basically. That's really annoying, isn't it? Probably with football. Right. Goals. Break them down. Break them down is the biggest thing that you can do, okay? So we could have hourly goals, weekly, monthly, yearly, lifetime plan. Okay, don't get hung up too much on the on the, oh my God, I've got to set myself a 5-year plan, a 5-year goal. In 5 years' time, I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to be in that house, and that's great. I love it. If you're going to be buying that house, changing your job, whatever it is, have that 5-year plan up there, but then break it down into manageable, sizable chunks. Because when you open your planner, sorry Geraldine if I'm offending you, totally going against everything you said. If you open your planner and you've got that picture of your house in there that you want to buy, that might be quite overwhelming, and you could open that and go, I love that house, but I'm just, you know what, I'm never going to get there, I'm never going to be able to buy that house. But you need to break it down, because that's quite a big objective, that's a big goal, that's massive, man. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of really, wow. But today, on your to-do list, put it on there, go to bank, speak to a mortgage advisor, find out how much mortgage I could get. That's your goal. That's a small one. That's the first step, isn't it, to buying a house? And you never know. They might tell you something totally different that you didn't even think about. You could get more money than you thought you could. Hate your job. I really want to change job. You know, and so I want to be here. Well, today. Well, why don't you go on Monster? Go and read. Have a look. See what jobs are out there. That's a tiny little goal, but that's one step closer to creating and achieving that big overarching goal that you set yourself for 5 years' time. So break it down. Don't be afraid to break it down into sizable chunks. On the busiest days, so I'm a total nerd, on the busiest days, sometimes I chunk it down into like 5 minutes, as that lady said at the back, I've only got 20 minutes. And having that small amount of time can really focus you. Sometimes I can spend all day answering emails, right? Oh, I'm so busy. I've got a whole day of emails. What that actually means is I spent about 2 hours on emails, 5 hours on Facebook, an hour on Instagram. I went and played with the rabbits, had a cup of tea. Oh, so busy today. Spent all my time on Facebook. So set yourself a timer, put it in, I'm going to do my emails, bam, Facebook's turned off, everything else is turned off, bam, done it. Done my emails. Awesome. And that goes with everything, as a you know, crafting, folding your laundry, whatever it is. Set yourself those goals, break it down, get it done. It's quite easy to do. It is easy to do. It's really easy for me to stand here and say easy to do, but it is easy to do. We're planner people, we've got planners, we've got them all the time with us mainly. So break it down, don't be afraid of your to-do list. Don't be afraid, this is not a sales pitch by the way, don't be afraid of grabbing something like this and writing extra stuff on it. You can throw this away, you can get this as messy as you like, it's a to-do list if you want to. It's a scrap piece of paper, a to-do list, whatever, a sticky note, whatever. Write stuff down, you think that you might remember it later but you probably won't, and when you're really busy you're just kind of like, oh, headless chicken, I've got so much to do today. And the more you tell yourself I've got so much to do today, the more you have so much to do today, because you're thinking I've got so much to do today. Whereas if you're just like, right, okay, today I'm going to do this, if you've completed half of it and it's still stressing you out because you've got so much on there, rip it up, put it in the bin, write a new one. So now my to-do list is even smaller now. So this was my like today's to-do list, lunchtime. Oh, okay, gone. Right, this afternoon's to-do list. Don't be afraid of extra lists, sticky notes, anything like that. Stationaries are friends. Stationaries are friends. You know, use your planners for like the overarching goals, and then use whatever tools that you've got at hand to kind of help you get there. Geraldine has cue cards. I have homemade medallions. I wrote this when I was in Bristol last week. John had to go to Bristol on a meeting, and I went with him and I sat in there. Chiquitos and wrote this. Okay, so smart objectives then. Anybody want to hazard a guess who doesn't know what smart objectives mean? It's an acronym. Nobody knows? Okay. Someone said
Specific.
Measurable.
Attainable. Or achievable.
Yeah.
Realistic. Time limit.
Yeah. There's if you
That's what they need to know.
yeah, if you look, it depends on kind of if you're English or American, and it kind of overlaps quite a lot. So generally, the S usually stands for specific. So the more specific you are with your goal, the more you'll be able to work towards that. Okay, there's a difference between goals and aspirations. Okay, So an aspiration, I would like to lose weight this year. My goal is I'm going to lose 7 pounds this month. Okay, so a goal and an aspiration is something totally different. A goal needs to be specific in order to be achievable and attainable. Anyone can challenge me on that if you like. I don't mind being challenged if you agree differently. But the more specific it is, the more easy it is to work towards. The more wishy-washy it is, the more it's kind of like just floats around in the ether, and it's 5 years and you're like, oh yeah, I was going to get in that dress. So the more specific and the more detailed your goal is, the more likely you are to obtain that. So try and keep a overarching plan. As I said, I have like a page in my planner with like some of my goals and when I want to achieve them, and then I use the daily pages in my to-do list in order to drive going towards that. M for measurable. Okay, so how are you going to measure your success? How are you going to get there? How it's achievable and how you're going to get there. So is it achievable? Are you setting yourself unrealistic goals? Are you setting yourself up for a bit of a failure? Do you need to break it down a bit more? Small, manageable pieces help to deal with the overwhelm. Are they relevant or realistic? I'm hoping that's kind of self-explanatory, because otherwise why are you doing it? If it's not relevant, why are you doing it? So hopefully. And T for trackable or tangible. And this, for me, is the most important letter in the whole SMART objectives, is the trackable. And if you're not tracking it, if you're not going back and revisiting your objectives, how do you know that you're still on track for completing that objective? Life changes, people come in and out of our life, stuff changes all the time, that's absolutely fine. We just need to kind of look at the main goal at the end and then maybe reroute where we thought we were going to go to get there. You know, whatever it is, you wanted that house, gosh darn it, I've been made redundant. That's okay, you know, it's a bit of a blip, there's a bit of a spanner in the works. Okay, we're going to reroute this, so we're going to put it back maybe a year because I need to then get a new job and I need to be there 6 months before I pass my probation. But it's still there, I can still get my goal, I just need to reroute myself, track where I'm going, and we'll get there absolutely fine. It's exhausting, isn't it? But the biggest thing is tracking it. So diarise it. Diarise when you are going to go back and revisit your goals. Diarise when you're going to spend time to look after yourself. If it's not in the diary, things can move. I'm not saying like you should be so rigid that you're like, oh, okay, like 12 noon today. Yeah, sorry, I can't go out for lunch with you, best buddy, because I'm reviewing my goals today. It's more about if you've got it in your diary, it's a reminder for you. I'm not saying keep putting it off forever. That is not that is not permission to keep putting it off, so you can't achieve that. I'm just saying that life does get in the way sometimes, but make sure you put some more time in the diary and try and stick to it the second time, because if you've done it by the third time, it ain't happening, is it? If you put it off the third time, it's probably not going to happen. In which case, you then need to reevaluate your goals and think, if I'm putting it off, I obviously don't really want it enough, it's not for me, or it's too big, I've set myself too high, I need to go back over it, reevaluate and set myself new goals, and then I'm off on track. Incorporate it into your daily life, if you can. As Geraldine sort of mentioned, she does her miracle morning every morning, she looks at her affirmations. I myself, I look at my planners every day. Every morning, first thing I do, usually I look at it again at lunchtime, I look at it again later in the afternoon, just to make sure that I'm kind of on my track and I'm using my to-do lists as I go as well. Because I'm a massive jot it down, scribble it out. As I said, writing things down makes things tangible. If you've written it down, it's usually made an impression in your mind as well, so writing it down really does help. And actually it's an excuse to have really nice pens and notebooks and all that kind of stuff as well. So make time for yourself, make time to go back and revisit and go forth with your goals. That's it. Any questions? Any